I loved working with Joe because he was such a brilliant actor.
The last horror film is about a New York cab driver who's obsessed with Caroline Munro, and he follows her to the Cannes Film Festival where a serial killer is on the loose. There's a lot of meta elements.
Oh, you're such a failure, Vinny. I'm a genius.
The last horror film is not as gory as Maniac, but it does have a good amount of kills in it.
The ultimate theme for the last horror film would have to be obsession.
Could you move your head a little to the right, Miss Pace? Perfect.
Hello fellow followers, welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have for you Disney and censorship. Yes, two things that seem to keep going together, and going together rather scarily, honestly, and it's getting worrisome. Well, it's been worrisome for quite some time. You know, I talk about this a lot here on my channel and stuff like that, but before we get into all this, I want to make sure you guys, check out 80s Horror Doc. I have a link in the description down below if you want to get In Search of Darkness Part 3. Pick that up. When you click on that link, and if you purchase it, it does help my channel. It helps me provide more content and stuff for you guys from them, and so many other ways. And also, if you do like what you see here, please consider liking, subscribing, joining the channel, and sharing this video out and everything, because it does help with the algorithm and it does help me get out there. But with all that being said, I just saw this Twitter post from the Horror Museum. It's the biggest horror museum. It's the official #1 horror museum. They're based out in LA, and they put out this tweet, and it's just something that really struck me, and I felt like, I have to do a video on this. And this is what it said. Disney is buying multiple post-production studios in Hollywood and banning films from getting sound mixing, color correction, and CG that contain nudity, sexual content, extreme violence, or anything controversial. This is a scary and dangerous precedent of censorship. I couldn't agree more. Disney is the single biggest offender of censorship and blocking things and buying up all these companies. They've bought up Fox, they bought up Marvel, they're buying up all these companies. And let's be real here, most of these Hollywood studios out there are owned by like maybe 4 or 5 people. It's very small. We may seem like we have multiple film companies, but it's actually only like 4 or 5 people, companies that own this. And Disney is the biggest offender of censorship, and it is absolutely ridiculous what they do and how they do it. And to see that now, if you've ever wondered, what happened to all those movies like I used to like as a kid from like the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, the 60s, that had some boobs. I'm a big fan of boobs, and I love seeing boobs in my movies, and that has pretty much stopped. What happened to those horror movies with the gore and the violence, and where it wasn't just about a certain way, it was actually horror movies. It was actually, they were pushing the boundaries, they were stretching the limits of creativity. What happened to those documentaries that are telling the story? This is something else I talk about, because this also has something to do with documentaries too, especially with documentaries that deal with something that's very controversial or very violent. It's like stopping history. It's like changing history, and it's ridiculous. And this is why I always want to tell you guys, please buy your physical media. It is more important now than ever. I mean, I know we're talking about newer films here, but buy your VHS, your Laserdisc, your Betamax, your DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. Buy all that, because it's never too late to get into this, and you never know when things will be pulled from you. And regardless what Disney tell you, those Disney movies from like the Snow White and the Marvel movies and all that, that's always going to be there. You will always be able to find them in some way, shape, or form, from physical media to Disney Plus streaming, which is stupid. I personally, I have pretty much stopped watching anything to do with Disney. I don't watch any of their new stuff whatsoever. I really, truly don't. I don't, because it's got to the point where Disney is just too powerful of an entity, of a company, where they're doing things where they're stopping creativity, they're stopping entertainment. They have an algorithm that determines what they think is right. They stop, like I said, nudity, violence. Sometimes, yes, we don't need to, I'm not trying to be like, a guy like that, but sometimes there's movies out there that for certain people have different viewpoints, different opinions, different tastes in movies and entertainment, and to stifle out certain people or shut down parts of these type of people, or these type of people from any type of entertainment, and only saying this is the entertainment you get, this is the entertainment you want, it's content, it's woke, it's message driven, whatever it may be. To me, it just feels lifeless and soulless, and it is all about money. Yes, even those movies that we love from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was all about money. but there was some kind of creativity and passion and free form that was allowed at that time, to where now that is got to the point where the studios, especially Disney, are stifling these people, are making these people stop, and now they're buying up these post-production companies and not allowing people that have made these horror films, these erotic films, these documentaries, from even having their films worked on so they can get them out to the public. That is censorship 1984 at the best. And it's just, I don't know what to do. All I know is I can do this. You know, I can fight. I can spend my money on things I want, what I want to buy, what I want to see, what I want to preserve. I can make videos and hopefully reach an audience and tell these people, don't, hey, listen, I know you may love Disney and everything, but you got to look at what they're doing, how they're censoring things, how they're stopping things. Yes, I know not everybody out there watches movies that are erotic, nudity, violence, gore, blood, all that. I get it and I understand, and that's perfectly fine. If I like family films too. I like a good comedy, a good, I love all that. Horror is not my number one favorite thing. I like multiple forms of movies: horror, comedy, action, sci-fi, all types of things. I don't like to limit myself just to one brand, but once you start limiting off and cutting off one, and then saying, well, then you can't do it in this, then you can't do it in that, then you get stuff like we're getting today, which is just piss poor entertainment. It's not good, and especially when they start saying modern sensibilities or to reflect the modern world. That's when you know something is really going to suck, and that's when you know something is being censored, and when something is being fed through a giant machine that has just way too much power, and it has way too much control, telling people what they can and cannot see. And I think that is utterly ridiculous. I think it is stupid. I think it is something that we need to start, pushing back a little bit more on, because, you never know. You never know. You're like the way I say, you never know. And like with this physical media, like, when I say genre films are not going to be there to buy on physical media always. So you got to purchase your physical media, buy your physical media, support it in every way, shape, form you can, and buy those films, because that you may not see, because they will be lost. Like I've said a million times, especially like with the 80s horror documentary and talk with David Weiner, and seeing these, like, movies are being lost from Betamax to the VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to 4K to streaming, because nobody will license them. Maybe you get a company like Disney who's stopping these post-production of movies from being made and released. They're saying no. You can't see that. We're not going to stream that. We're not going to scan that in 2K or 4K. We're not even going to bother with that movie. Just get rid of that movie. People don't need to see that movie. That movie. No. Look over here. Look at this brand new Star Wars show. No. That's, as far as I'm concerned, it's ridiculous. And I really wanted to do this video on this, and I'm sure I'll get a bunch of detractors watching this, or people that don't like this or whatever. I'm just trying to say this, and it's not like I've not seen Disney movies or watched Disney movies, especially when you have kids. When you have kids and they want to watch something Disney, it happens. But me personally, I will stick to my physical media. I will stick to what I like, the type of family movies, comedies, action, horror, and boobs that I like to see. And that's why I like Charles Band, Lloyd Kaufman, with Creator VC 80s horror documentary. I'm not trying to promote it like that in this video too much, but these are independent people working on these projects and that are still putting out movies that maybe aren't for everybody, especially with Troma and Lloyd Kaufman. Those movies are not for everybody, but if you're looking to buy something, buy some of their VHS, Blu-rays, DVDs, whatnot, or if you want their Full Moon streaming service, get that. Troma Now, if you're a huge Troma fan, get that. And it's support these independent creators and these physical media and companies that actually will listen to you and give you entertainment you want, and not entertainment they tell you should watch and what you consume, content, algorithm, number related type of entertainment, which is ridiculous. And this censorship, I don't know what to do. It's eventually going to get out of hand to where you're not going to have much of anything to watch unless you possibly collect physical media. Trust me, it's beneficial in the long run. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments section down below. What are all your thoughts on this, on censorship? Seriously, let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. And if you, like I said, if you like what you saw here, please like, subscribe, join the channel membership, hit the bell for notifications, share the video out for everybody to see. Make sure you pick you up a copy of 80s horror document of In Search of Darkness. By clicking the 80s horror documentary link that I have, my link. make sure you click my link because it helps my channel. I thank you guys for watching wherever you guys are. Please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media. It is the superior format. Godspeed.